Computer. Okay, I think it's recording now.
Great.
Um, yes, so let's actually start from the last one. Well, let's start with faculty and staff, actually. So here's your pages. You've got a page for leadership, you've got a separate page for core faculty, and an affiliated faculty and adjunct faculty. So there's a lot of names in there.
Hmm.
Um, And notice only the core faculty have pictures and the other ones don't have pictures, just names, links, email address. Okay, just good to get a lay of the land, see what we're dealing with first. So of course we start by logging in at /user at the end, as you've done before. So I'm already logged into something else, so it didn't ask me to input my information. Um,
Okay.
just a reminder, again, the web training is here. There's some accessibility training you should really go through at some point and
Okay.
familiarize yourself with. They do post announcements here every now and then. Um, you kind of have to check it. It doesn't like tell you that there's new announcements, um, but these can be useful. Uh, And then analytics, if you ever want to get an idea of how many people are kind of visiting your website, that kind of thing, uh, this will take you there. And then it
Okay.
also keeps like a nice list of pages that you recently edited. So if you're working on something over several days, you can just come back and find it here. Um, so again, let's go back to our people. You probably won't be editing the leadership too much. So let's go to core faculty. So the way this is set up, I could tell already this is a person grid, people grid, not a people list. And if I edit the page, you can see it's set up into three different sections. So the core, affiliated, and the adjunct, as we saw
Okay.
before. And so if you were, let's say you're removing somebody, there's, well, if, before we even get there, you can see how this is set up. So this is set up by filtering on person type of core faculty, right? You don't see the list of names here. You can't actually edit any of the people from here or the list of people. What it's doing is it's all the people are represented by people components, person components, um, and each of those is kind of set to a different type. So, like Christopher Collar, or whoever's set as faculty, and somebody else might be set as staff. So this is this is the page that displays all those lists, but you can't actually edit the lists from here. So here's
Okay.
the affiliated faculty, pulls down from here. And oops, I didn't want to do that. And these are the adjuncts pulled from here. See, and you can see these are the different types that exist. So, so okay, so we, as you said, we wanted to add or remove a faculty member, but we can't do that from here. So that's good to know. Go back to our site. We'll keep this page open and I'll open a new page, a new tab. I'll open this content. So this is the back end. This is where all your content lives. And you can
Okay.
kind of see here, you've got different kinds of content. So you've got basic pages, you've got flex items, which are the research studies actually are flex items. Um, some basic pages, some important news, and here we go, some people. So again, each person that showed on that page is represented by a person component. So let's say we wanted to find an existing person and edit them. You can type their name and hit filter, and then it shows you everything with that name in it. And here's her person component. So if you wanted to
Okay.
edit an existing one, you have to hit edit from here, and then you can change her picture. Here you can see where she's set as core faculty, and people can be multiple types. So there might be somebody who's both leadership and core faculty, that kind of thing. So you just click in here and you can select as many of these as you might need. I mean, people wouldn't be more than two likely. And it's basically, just some fields. So the full name is what shows on the back end, and then first and last name are what show on the public end. And it seems redundant, but actually it's useful because you might have reasons to have multiple person components of the same person, like one of them for their for a different kind of page or something. So
Got it.
you can always put a note to yourself that this is, you know, web version of whatever, and people would not see this part. They rarely have to do that, to be honest. Their title, so sometimes people do change their title. Assistants and associates, can change. Um, and there's a whole lot of fields that we don't even use. So, so let's say my example is removing somebody. If you want to remove them, all you have to do is unpublish them. So that would be just click here where it's, not published. And if I hit save, that would just take her out of the system and the page would automatically update without her.
Got it.
And as long as I don't hit save, it's not going to save any of my changes. So I could just, if I want to cancel it, I don't think there's a cancel button, but you can hit view and you view that. It doesn't save it if I don't hit save. Let's say you wanted to add somebody. So you go to content, add content, create person, right? Create any of your content types from here. What I
Okay.
would usually do is in a new tab, I like to go to vivo.brown.edu. So that's like the official database of Brown faculty. And think of a random faculty member. Let's say Kid Carey was new in CAS. What I would usually do is copy their name, because a lot of times, people have weird names, or, it's easy to make a mistake on somebody's name. So I
Mm-hmm.
always try to copy and paste it. Not that anybody's name is weird. And then I would paste it into all three. This is just how I usually do it. And then cut them. So this is only the first, and this one's only the
And can I
last.
ask when
Yes.
you did hit that the content, so is this like creating specifically underneath like a page or a section of the website, or is this just like creating in general and then we allocate it to a certain space?
The second that you said. So like
Okay.
it technically does create a page for the person, but we don't actually use that page. So it's more, think of it just as like a component that just kind of exists in the system, and then it only gets displayed when we assign a person to a person type, and then it pulls it onto the page.
Okay.
In fact, um, I'm actually just going to use test person so it's really easy to see, and we can remove it really easily. So when you're linking to staff, or you're creating a staff person component, they don't have anywhere to link to, so you'd say do not link. But if you're linking to a faculty member, you'd usually link to their Vivo or the researchers at Brown.
Okay.
So you want to copy that. And first of all, say link to researchers at Brown. And this is a required field. You have to choose something. So you could either 10 times you're going to select either do not link or link to researchers at Brown for faculty. And let's say our new person is an adjunct professor.
And it automatically links it to research outbound?
No, 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 it does
Okay.
not. We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I, I should probably take these tags out because I don't think these are in use. These aren't in use. Um, but if you scroll down, there's a field to put their Vivo link. So that's right. Um, if the person has an image in their Vivo, you could use that. So I'm just gonna throw this in my desktop, I guess. Downloads. Yeah, so images for their picture. There are certain limitations on the size of the image. But we took that one fine. Okay. You need to put alternative text, so that's for screen readers or Google searches. Like Google would know who that is based on the alternative text. For all images, you do have to set a crop. So
Okay.
um, even if you don't want to change this crop, you still have to kind of click over here, but you also can change the crop if you want to. Like you can crop right in the system. And you can see it keeps like a fixed ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to click down. Sometimes there's like multiples of these. And I like to crop tight in on the head. So something like their eyes and just inside there, and maybe their chin right on this line, just because they're headshots, right? They're not like
Got it.
big portraits. So that's just a little pet peeve of mine when people don't crop them. Um, Generally, if yeah, for casts, you would copy their entire title. So you paste that in there and their email address, which is in Vivo over here. So again, just right click and copy each of those things. And for the most part, that's the main things that we use for a person. So again, I made her an adjunct professor just for demonstration purposes. So if I make sure it's published and I save it, takes a while because it's uploading that picture and copying it.
Okay.
And then if I go back to faculty and I refresh the page, where did she show up? Oh, she shows up under this adjunct we made her. So I didn't even need the picture because there's not a picture being used, but it doesn't hurt to put in a picture. And then again,
Great.
to remove it, you can also hit this tab here that says people, and then it will just show you all the person components. If
Okay.
you just want to get like an overview of the different people, and it tells you, oh yeah, this one was adjunct, and this one's unpublished. Don't know why. I guess she left Brown. So that's an example of somebody who, we removed at some point.
Okay.
Um, and again, you can hit delete because this we definitely don't need this anymore. But as I said, you could also go in to here, edit, and just unpublish.
Okay.
Or you can also delete from. Oops, not that one. You can delete from here, like a little hidden button, so you don't accidentally. So, and I would say always check. If you make a change to your people, go back to the page where you expect to find them and see if they're there. Um, make sure it worked the way you wanted, that the way you expected it to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll go to news stories next. So with news stories, there's three different types of news. Okay. You probably are only using two of them, but you've got three available to you. And let's go to the news. See how this is news from Kearney. This one is news from Brown. This is Brown University. That's interesting. I see if I go to see all news, it actually shows me like the full list. We have news going back to 2016. Most of these are news from Cass. So that's the difference there. If it's news from Cass, it's one type. And if it's like news from SPH, like these, then it's a different type altogether. So if
Mhm.
I click on news from SPH, this high-tech approach to curb heavy drinking, that's actually an article that was posted by our central news office. Okay. And since it's about Cass faculty, Jennifer Merrill, uh, whoever else, it's related to Cass, and so you'd want to highlight that on your website. So you'd find those at like the Maine School of Public Health site, news and stories. So you could browse these, or if you run across it and you say, oh, this is an article that's and this is news from Brown. Um, so you can import items that were written on the SPH website, or items that were on the News from Brown website, or the Kearney website, or any other website. Um, so let's take this then as our example. If we wanted to import this, which I think we already did, but we'll do it again for demonstration purposes. You just go and you copy the URL of it, and we're here back in your site. That's import news article. So it's right under content. It's not in the flyout menu. It's just directly down, and you paste in the URL. And I think it's gonna tell me we already imported this. It already exists, but let's say we were importing it for the first time, and you say, well, that doesn't look right. But that's just the back end view. That's not how it shows in public. But if I was importing it for the first time, I'd have to go back to it, click edit, and then make sure it's published. Like when you first import them, they don't publish. The other thing you could do is you can add tags to them. So if you had an article that was about different topics, nicotine, HIV, AIDS, whatever, or if you're posting something about an award that a faculty member got or whatever, you can select those tags. You can also associate it with people. I'm not sure that does anything, but it's a good practice to get into because it could be used like in the future. Anyway, so once you import it, you hit publish, you hit save, you add your tags, you hit publish, you hit save, then it would show up.
And the first button you had pressed was content and then import news article.
Yes, you
Okay,
just mouse
great.
over, right, content, import news article. And then it shows up here. So you didn't have to, type in the headline. You didn't have to type in this text or the image. It just sucked all that up from the published story. And again, as another example, and then when people click on it, I should point out, it'll take them out of your site and it'll take them to brown.edu. So just so you're aware. And this one was imported from Kearney, the Kearney Center. So again, if you click on this, it'll take you out to the Kearney Center, the Kearney Institute. Okay, so that's importing a news article, but you can also write your own. Let's say uh, common cases, a faculty member wins an award. Our office doesn't want to write about it because like we don't write about every single award that people get, but your office wants to promote that. So then you would go to content, and instead of importing, you'd go to content, site news. So this is to make a new site news item. So then you can, you'd have to come up with all the content then because you're writing it, or somebody in your office is writing it. So um, um, don't have a lot of guidelines to give on that. People kind of do their own thing. Um, it could be a long title or a short title. You can have a picture that goes with it. Um, there's two places where a picture goes for these. So let's say I'll use Cape Carey as our example again. Cape Carey ends a word. But you see here I ran into this size issue. it has to be 980, but the image is only 920. That's a pain. You have to go, you'd have to go into Photoshop and resize the image, or else um, ask whoever sent you the image to send you a different size. There's no like easy way around that. Since this is just a demo, I'm going to go, I have a whole folder full of people, images. I'm gonna pick that one just. The rule with almost all images is that they have to be less than 2 MB in size. So this is 1.4. And it has to be bigger than the minimum size varies, but the maximum is always 2 MB. Um, so let's say this is our person, and again, we have to crop it. This one's going to ask us to do a horizontal crop. Oops. In fact, it's asking us for 4 different crops. We have to go and assign all those crops. Oops, again, you can give it a news tag, so it's an award, we decided. Um, you can pick any date you want, but it doesn't affect anything. Like you might wish that, oh, let's say if I set it for next week, it won't go live till next week. No, that's not how it works. It doesn't do anything different. It just displays a date. You don't really need an author. Most departments wouldn't put an author. Okay, and there's an intro field and a body field, right? Now, those are also on basic pages. So the intro field, it's really good to use that because that's all that most people are going to see. So the, you know, like a really small summary of it, and then you could put a longer one here. And really, sometimes, to be honest, sometimes people only use the intro if it's just like something so short and they don't have a story to tell about it. I mean, ideally, you should have a little body story about it, but and then you can pick the person that it relates to, um, and save it. And again, it's going to take a bit because it has to upload that photo and crop it. So I added the photo, but why there's no photo here? That photo shows up here, right?
Okay.
So you can see both the title and this intro
Hmm.
copy both show up there. So that's why it's really nice to use that intro copy. And again, a lot of people aren't going to click through necessarily, but they can read the intro here. So let's take a look at that image issue again. So this image is the component image. So the component image is what shows on pages that dynamically link to it. But in order to show on the news article page itself, you have to add an image here. Um, and what is this called? Just above image components. So it'll appear above the article, but below the intro copy. There's 2 options here. A gallery is really only if you have multiple images. So let's say you had an event, commencement, party, whatever it might be, and you wanted to have like a slideshow of different, several pictures, you could use the media gallery. But if you just, in this case, we just have one picture of the person, which is typical, um, hit add. And you can post a video. Uh, Video would have to live on YouTube, but typically you're not. Typically you're just doing an image. But if you did have a video poster, you'd have to post it on YouTube, or we could post it on YouTube for you, and you'd put the URL, the YouTube URL in there. But in this case, it's just an image. And then again, you can just go and select the same image or a different image if you wanted, but I like to keep it the same image. caption, and I'll give it the, we have two different options. It's just like, it's just a rectangle with picture in it, or it gives it a little red box around it. It's just a stylistic difference. I always like the red box, but you could pick either one. And then now you can see it has a picture here. Um, Another feature that's nice is this revisions. So if you go and you edit something and you screw something up really badly, you can go to revisions. You can just revert to your previous version. So that's always nice to know that that's there. And you can see it picked up the date that we put in there. What else? Oh, if you did have like a longer article, I mean, you can use these other components too. You could put a quote. So let's say you had a new person and, you could say, you give them a quote, have a picture again. You could upload the picture. You could upload the same picture multiple times if you want, but you can also, just a little trick, if you remember to do this, you hit File Browser, that brings you in the back end, and you can see this is actually where it stores them. You don't have to know that. It just saves you from having to set a crop each time because it remembers the crop. Uh, so, oops, you can edit that. I forgot to give a name there. Whatever. Yeah, that's how they work. People don't use them much, but I just encourage it because it's kind of a neat feature to use the quote or any of these others. Um, on the handout, I have a link to where you can see all the examples. Any questions before I delete this?
No, I think that was really thorough and I got a good grasp. Thank you.
And I do want to emphasize I'm always available to answer questions. I can walk you through, if you have to make a change, and it's very common that people only make updates, once or twice a semester. So it's really easy to forget, and I totally understand. So I'm always glad to help you help walk you through something.
Thank you. Yep, I probably will be in touch at least throughout this semester. So
And then the research studies, to be honest, I left these for last because I don't do these much, the flex items. So I just want to take a look at one: alcohol, the brain, and the immune system. By looking at an existing one. So it's a flex item, as it says here. So it's got a title. There's only one type, research studies. Okay. Um, I have it linked to this page. I've got flex tags here. So these are the different kinds of studies: alcohol research, HIV research, studies for adults. Uh, Oops. So one item can be in multiple areas, and you can see alcohol research, HIV research, cannabis research, right? So that's what those tags do. So this is tagged probably for alcohol and tobacco because it's drinking and smoking study. And if I go here, then sure enough, there it is, drinking and smoking study. When I click on it, it goes to more information. That's because we pick, sorry. It's because, let's close some of these. That's because we picked the link to this page. If you had some reason you wanted to link out to somewhere else, you could do that by choosing this, put in a different URL. Um, Date, I guess we're not using the dates on those. And then again, we have an intro and body paragraph. So I guess this one didn't really use the intro. No, it did. Just doesn't display it any differently, I guess. Okay. As I say, I don't use these very often. Um, and then email and protocol number. So let's see where those go. Email address, custom fields. Okay. So the custom fields, you just type in what the label is for it and the text. So, I don't know much about these studies. I don't know if they all have protocol numbers. If they might not have one, you could just leave it blank. If you had some other kind of information you wanted to call out like that, you could, or you could just put it in the body area. It's just like a nice way to format them so that they're all similar, I guess. Project map. This one, I guess, didn't have a protocol number. Send us email thing. What is that? A call to action link. So you could use that if they were all kind of different. Like I'm the one who migrated them from the older website. So I just kind of did what seemed to make sense to me. And if you get stuck on these, I'm certainly glad to help you with these as well. And these are the same links. So by topic and then by age group, because you've got studies for adults and teens. So almost all of them go into at least two categories, right? One topic category and one audience or whatever we called it, age group. And then, ooh, okay, well, under that, we have all of them listed. Just so that you can, if somebody just wanted to browse through them, or if they knew what study they're looking for. So how is that done? Ooh, it's a flex list. I suspect they automatically populate in here because it's locked. So I can't do anything with it. So that would be my assumption. It's just alphabetical of all the studies. They just show up there for reference. Uh, any questions? Anything else you want to see? You want me to review something? It's fine.
I think for now, I feel like I have a good grasp of it. Um, I'll certainly reach out if there's anything else, and I appreciate your patience of taking me through this.
Sure. I'll email you the video if you like.
Amazing.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else you would want to that I should have covered that I didn't. When you add an announcement, they automatically get pulled into the homepage.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
or news or announcements, we kind of use the same different words to describe the same thing. And you might find that they show up on the areas of research. Yeah. So when they had those news types or news tags, I think it was news tags, that's where those go. So it'll show up in your full news feed, but it'll also show up according to the tag that you chose. So if you chose cannabis, it would show up on the cannabis page. And the same thing for the people. Looks like at least the primary faculty. Uh, let's take a look at that. Nope, want that. Don't want that. So we saw Rachel Cassidy in there. Mm, okay, it's not appears to not be using tags in this case. What was that? Cannabis. Okay, so just so you know, there's a different way for faculty to show up. Now, I could have set up tags and then pulled by a cannabis tag, but I did not. For this, it's just you have to type in the name. So if there's a new faculty member who's specializing in cannabis, you'd make the person component first, and then you'd have to start typing their name in here. And once you start typing their name, you could see it pulls up a list of people components with that name. So I don't know how often, people actually go through this and update these, but that's how you do it. So it's a little different than the process for updating the faculty page.
I see.
Rosie, I wonder if she shows up. Yeah, she shows up here. Okay. If you're wondering, okay, how do you get a photo of a faculty member? Um, they might provide one for you, but I also do take pictures of headshots of faculty, staff, and some graduate students. So if you need headshots, you can just send me an email. Um,
Okay.
Later on in the year, I'm going to set up like a self sign up kind of thing. But, it's because it's the middle of winter. I don't think people generally want to get headshots in the middle of winter. Uh, but I certainly could do it. Like if you needed a headshot for the website, I don't know if they had staff listed with pictures. They're not really listed with pictures, but you can add yourself um,
Oh, that's true.
without the picture. That could be your next step here. So then you would make a person, and then when it says person type, um, I guess there's two different types of staff. So I guess you're probably administrative.
I'm guessing.
And then you'd say do not link because you don't have a Vivo to link there. Just fill in your email address and title, all that stuff.
Nice.
And then, as I say, go back and check it. Is it research? These are just the research, or is the um, might not be listing the administrative staff. I don't know. I don't know how that works. That was intentional, or maybe you're supposed to be in here. I'm not sure. All right. Yeah, so there's lots of different parts that connect to each other and whatever. Um, but it's fairly straightforward, at least compared to the system we had before. So, great. Um, any last questions or anything?
I think I'm all good.
All
Thanks
right.
so much again.
All right. Well, take care, Farah. I'll send you
Thanks.
that video. How do you stop it?
Great. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.